What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Happy Sunday. Hopefully, you guys are having a good weekend. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Heroes Path event. This one is the Fallen Path event featuring Rhea's 5-star soul. We also have the Covetous Passion mythical relic up for grabs here. And actually, a Prism Crystal. This is a full 40. It should be one full pull. And we see a Prism Shard and a Void Shard and even a Sacred Shard here as well. So for those that are looking to pull and are not interested in the Rhea 5-star Soul or don't have enough to get the Covetous Passion, there's at least some goodies here for basically everybody. Let's check out how we are going to be acquiring points for this event. And it's going to be dungeon diving. So you're going to be getting your gear and accessories here. And it's also going to be summoning souls from soul stones. So this is the exact point breakdown as our previous Heroes Path featuring a soul event. These don't happen very often, but this is the same point breakdown. The last one that happened to my memory was Estrid. This was probably like 3 or 4 years ago. But the point breakdown here is pretty horrendous. 100 points for the mortal soul stones, 1,500 points for immortal, and 7,500 for the eternal soul stone. Usually the breakdown for these is the mortal soul stones, 10 of them is worth 1 immortal, and 5 immortals is worth 1 eternal. In this case, it's 15 mortals per immortal. And the ratio between immortal and eternal is the same, so 5 to 1. So in this case, the path is giving you much lower value for mortal soul stones than, for example, like a Deck of Fate. Now, usually in Deck of Fate events, big ticket items that are not like gear related or anything like that usually cost you between 500, about 550 mortal soul stones and about 55 immortal soul stones, and about 11 of the big eternal soul stones. So we can take a look at the Hero's Path and see what each path will cost and how much it costs relative to what Deck of Fate will cost, just to give us an idea of how expensive or how affordable it is. All right, so to plan this path out, we're using the RSLX app. It has this handy path breakdown tool. Make sure you guys check it out. So first up, you have to get the key. You can go down either the left-hand side or the right-hand side. In this case, we went down the right-hand side to pick up the 400 energy. So we're going to pick that up, and 400 energy can be used back into the path. We pick up the key down here, and then we go down the second row, and then this way we're going to unlock the lock and then go all the way down to the Covetous Passion at the bottom. So this is for the mythical relic. You do get a Void Shard along the way, and you get 50 of these Twisted Horns. Total path cost is going to cost you 76,500 points. Now, what that breaks down into is about, I believe, 51. Yes, 51 immortal soul stones. So if you were to compare this versus a Deck of Fate, 51 immortal soul stones is slightly cheaper than what you would pay if this was a Deck of Fate, usually. Because like I said, usually it's about 57 immortal soul stones. However, if you want to use just mortal soul stones, it's going to cost you 770 mortal soul stones. So the mortal soul stone return on this event is very, very poor. Yes, you're getting a 2x boost on it, but the point value return is way worse compared to other events where we can get points and value for the mortal soul stone. Does this mean that you guys should hold this back? I don't think so. I think you're still spending the mortal soul stones here just to help you out, especially if you're after some of these rewards. Now, what about the big guy here? It's for the eternal soul stone. So the eternal soul stone, it's going to come in here at just about 10 or 11. It looks like it's going to be just over 10, which is, again, slightly cheaper than, the more expensive Deck of Fate events that we get for Guaranteed Champions, for example. So it's whether you value the Covetous Passion relic in the same kind of tier as a, Guaranteed Champion, right? In this case, it's a Guaranteed Mythical Relic. I will say it is a mythical relic. You're getting 4 gem slots. It's not easy to get, and you might never get it again. That's the thing. So, it's kind of the same idea as a champion, right? It might even be more difficult to get than a champion, just because it is a group relic. So the materials are already limited, and then obviously the RNG of getting the mythical is going to be very difficult. The Covetous Passion in terms of overall stats and impacts, you do get a shatter buff. Some champions like buffs, but it's not a permanent shatter buff. And the reoccurring application of the shatter buff requires you to kill an enemy, and it's only for one turn. So I would say it's a little bit underpowered as far as mythicals go. I'm not saying that it's a bad relic, but if it was a legendary relic, it would be really good. But as a mythical relic, it does feel a little bit underpowered. But if I got one, I would totally use it because it's still a decent relic. Okay, so we're going to switch up the paths here. And if you're going for Rhea's 5-star soul, total cost here is going to be 78,500. So a little bit more expensive than the Covetous Passion. I think most people won't have the resources to properly go for any of these super high-end rewards. You need quite a bit of soul stones to get this job done, which means you're probably going to need to pull some of your immortal or eternal soul stones to try to get any of these bigger rewards. Now, the third path I want to mention here is actually going for the Prism Crystal. It's going to cost you just under 13,000 points. Now, keep in mind that that's going to be about 130 mortal soul stones. If you think about it, let's say it was a soul chase tournament, pulling 130 mortal soul stones is very likely that you're not going to get a reward as good as a Prism Crystal. In this case, you're going to make sure you're going to get that Prism Crystal reward. I think it's okay. There's also going to be some, dungeon events that we need to farm if you're going for the fusion. So you'll be farming and getting credit for all your energy spent anyways going into this event. So I think for most people, going for the Prism Crystal kind of makes sense. Make sure you guys don't collect make sure you guys collect this Prism Crystal in this path, because some of you might think that the path will expire and then the Prism Crystals will go to your inbox. In this case, because it's a hero's path and the reward needs to be chosen by the user, you must choose the Prism Crystal. So once you choose the Prism Crystal, it should go to your bank, your Soulstone in the Soulstone altar. And it should be pullable for next weekend's champion chase. So you do get some additional value there. At least you're going to get an epic level worth of points, and you might get lucky for a legendary. But yeah, make sure you guys collect the Prism Crystal from this path before it expires. Okay, so you're saying that, okay, Booze, I don't have any soul stones. How much energy or how much points do we get from energy? So again, I'm going to go back to this RSLX website. There is something called an efficiency lab. So here we're going to go to the efficiency lab, and it's going to tell you exactly what the point breakdown is and most efficient way of using or getting energy or getting points from your energy. So if you look at the efficiency breakdown here, for Heroes Path, the event dungeon is still open. So we do have a Rhea's Madness tournament happening right now. There is an Immortal Soulstone at 3,500 points. Usually 3,500 points means it's going to cost about 3,500 energy if you're running the most efficient stages. It's quite expensive for an Immortal Soulstone in my opinion, but at least you can throw the Immortal Soulstone back into this Fallen Path if you want to. But in terms of overall points for the Hero's Path, stage 3 from the event dungeon is going to be the most efficient. You're going to get 2.5 2.5 points per energy. All right, guys. So that's the most efficient. Keep in mind, you can also farm food and stuff like that on this stage, and it's going to be relatively quick energy burn here. Now, if you want to compare it without the event dungeon, let's say you don't want to do the event dungeon, let's go and then let's look up the most reasonable one. You got the stage 20 of the regular Fire Knight, Ice Golem, and Dragon. And that's going to give you 1.95 points per energy. So for simplistic sake, we're going to say it's going to give you about 2 points per energy. And lastly, let's check out hard 10. What does hard 10 look like? Hard 10 is going to be right here, 1.74 points per energy. So there you guys go. Okay, guys, if you guys want to farm, depending on how important gear is for you, if you just want to do it based on the most efficient stage or most efficient way, then event dungeon level 3 will be the most efficient. You're not getting very high point efficiency for the Rhea's Madness tournament, but you're getting really good efficiency for this Hero's Path. So you have to kind of make a little bit of a, adjustment for yourself. If you want to get best points for both tournaments, then doing level 20 would be the best. So you're getting about 2 points for the Fallen Path, and you're getting your, one to 1 point for your Rhea's tournament. All right, so what if I wanted to just do the mythical relic just with energy alone? So the total cost of that would be 9,500 gems, and that's going to cost you about 31,000 energy. Again, it is not going to be an easy amount for most people to run into, so you're going to have to do a lot of the points with soul stones. And for completeness sake, I just swapped over to stage 20 of just the regular dungeons. And this is how much you would be paying for the exact same reward. You'd be paying about 3,000 gems more. It's pretty significant. So if you just wanted to do, if you just want to do this as cheaply as possible, you can do it with the event dungeon stage 3. And then you're going to save 3,000 gems. That's pretty significant, right? So anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully it was helpful and informative for you guys. For myself personally, I think, going for the 5-star soul makes sense. I think, if you don't have Rhea, going for the covetous passion, it could be something that, can be useful for you, mainly because it's just a relic that's not going to be easily obtained. Like I said, mythical relic, it's an event group, so it's going to be the relics materials are going to be a little bit more scarce. But this event is totally skippable. It's totally skippable, especially if you're going for the fusion. So keep that in mind. If your main priority, if you're early in the game, progressing through your game, and you just want to get the fusion done, don't even worry about this event at all. Whatever points you get, just get some of the lowest rewards, like pick up the gems. The gems here are totally fine. If you somehow make it to the Prism Crystal, that's totally fine too. I would even say, like, even the mortals you could consider holding for other events in the future, but you definitely want to save the mortal soul stones for 2x events. This is a 2x event. You're just not getting great value for it, so I wouldn't fault you guys for holding on to your mortals for other events that give you proper value for your mortals. Anyway, that's going to be it for the video. Like I said, let me know in the comments below what you guys are planning to do. For myself personally, I think I'm probably just going to go for the 5-star soul. I'm going to do kind of like an account shakedown on my resources just to see what I can actually achieve reasonably. I do have some of the eternal soul stones, but I've been saving those for a long time. I don't really want to spend them, but they are, kind of a renewable resource in that they're farmable in the game. Whereas something like the covetous passion is not, it's not going to come back, right? At least anytime soon. So we'll see. I have to think about it a little bit. Anyways, you guys let me know in the comments below what you guys are planning to do. Have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for watching until the end, and I'll see you guys in the next video.